Good evening and welcome to Rockstar UK. In this episode we're going to continue with the off-white and brown Ruckus build with the GY6 swap. Today we're going to really focus on the front end. I want to get the brakes on, or front brake on. Might as well, yep, we'll do the rear brake as well. And I want to get the forks on. I want to get the front caliper on, bleed the brakes, and I want to share some tips with you on bleeding the front brakes. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Right, so it might look like I've jumped the gun a bit and you've gone, it's like, oof, it's already there. Well, I've bolted the front forks in because I wanted to make sure that they seated up correctly, and the bolts I had that would fit correctly, and also that the shocks are all in line. We had a little bit of an issue where this one looked like it leaked a little bit, but the rebound of this one is exactly the same as that one, so there's no issues. I will check the fork oil on this particular one, but all looks good. The seals are like perfect, no issues there. So I've literally put the front hub on. There's no axle spaces in there at the moment, because what I want to do is, I've already done it, but I want to share it with you. I've bled the front brake, just checking for any leaks. There's nothing there at the moment, but what I like to do is come by like the next day, check for any wet spots, especially on where the banjo bolts are, and also check the pressure on the lever. So this is how I do it. I have the bike, as you can see here, or I have the caliper above the master cylinder and like hang it off of there or something. But I found a way to do it on the bike really easy, and I will show you how to do it, what my equipment is, and it literally took me about 3 minutes to do it, and it'll be one of the best brake fills you've ever had. So, let me see if I can focus a little bit better. So, banjo bolt, 2 copper washers, or you can get the ones with the little rubber seal. You can see that's my brake feel already. That's there. Squeeze it. Oh, it's already, that's bloody good. So, in there you've got, this is the master cylinder cap. In there you've got like a little rubber seal that sits inside it, and this is where all your brake fluid is, and it travels down here all the way through in this high pressure line down to the next banjo bolt, which is there. I don't have a bleeder there, I never like to. And then it's an M10 by 1.25 banjo bolt, which goes into the rubber washers into your Adelin lever. Adelin brake caliper. So here I've put the spacer kit on just so I could get this where I want it to. You can hear it binding a little bit. That's because of the pressure in the brake, but that will ease up with a quick bit of use. But that's what we're trying to get. When we put the wheel on, we want that exactly in the middle. So on the back of your caliper, put the bleed nipple at the top. So when you first get these calipers, it will be actually set at the bottom, so make sure you move it to the top, and you'll have this little plug here which you put in. So just nip that up, and then this one is where you're going to be doing your bleeding from. So pop the cap off, loosen it a little bit, or a fair amount for the first bit. Now what I advise you to do is get some of this equipment. Let's go over to here. So what I've got is like a jam jar. Let me get my head out of the light. So I've got like an old jam jar with the, where you can get like the straws that go in the top. So it's one of those, clear bit of hose, and then this is a one-way valve from like a fuel system, so a bit like what we can put in the Ruckus and that to help with the cranking and that. And another bit of hose. Stick that on the bleed nipple, and then pull this end out. Hopefully it's not dirty, but if you've got a brand new one, makes it easier. And then just suck. literally use your own mouth to suck and create a little bit of pressure. And what you'll start to do is you'll start to see the fluid coming through with lots of air. Once you get to a point where you can't obviously suck it anymore because you're about to get brake fluid in your mouth, put it in your little jar and then just keep squeezing and adding brake fluid like all the time. So as you keep adding brake fluid, eventually all the air will get pushed out. And then what you're looking for is, what I tend to do then is, once it starts to come through clear with not a lot of air or very minimal, I nip it off a little bit, like literally just a little bit, and then back it off slightly so that you get a little bit of resistance in the lever, and it will come through until it's clear with no air in it at all. Nip it up and you'll feel it on here be as rigid as that. So I'm super happy. That took literally all of a couple of minutes to do. This is buttoned up now. I can actually start spacing the front wheel. Once I've spaced the front wheel on and I've got that bolted up, I can put the back wheel on. We've already got the kickstand on now, so kickstand's on with the rear sets. It's basically a roller. Then it's a case of putting all of this in with the cage, the battery, and start doing the wiring. But we've broke the back of this build, yeah, pretty good. I mean, look, that's no resistance on my hand. It just, you can hear the pads at the moment. So, but you won't notice that after literally like a couple of miles or something. That'll be absolutely fine. But literally in the morning, make sure that there's no weepage. Which, look, that's bone dry. Just double check. Yeah, bone dry. Nothing up here. Just check all around. Check your fingers. Nope, bone dry. So that's good. But brake fluid can come out of anywhere, so just be patient with it. I'm happy that's done, so let's get on with putting the front wheel on, put the back wheel on, and get a look at what it's going to look like when I start coming together as a bike. Okay, so I finally put the wheel on with the caliper. Now, I was super lucky. I've used the Rock Shop wheel spacer kit. So you have the longer out of the two on this side, 2 spacers, and the shorter one sits in there. Now, I've used some nice washers on the wheel, and also the brake caliper. It's a bit dark, so it might not. So on the brake caliper just here, there's another spacer kit that goes in there. It all comes part of the wheel spacer kit, and then Loctited everything. And I just did have it up on a box, and this spins really freely, so everything's sort of pulling itself in square, and the gaps are perfect. It's super central. Really lucky. That's the way I do it. Sometimes I have to grind off one of these or grind the other one down just to get it in. But this is a 120 tyre, and that's pretty close, but it's got some good clearance there. Yeah, super happy with how that's coming out. It's going to ride really nice. Next thing, let's put the back wheel on and get it rolling, really get it into a rolling bike. Okay, so back wheel's on. Looks a nice bulbous stretch, and then we've got the inside here, we've got the M10 to M12 nuts, or not sorry, they're bolts, and then we've got the gold M12 lug nuts, which are modified to fit the flat face of the wheel. And also in the middle we've got obviously the TRS center cap. So I think that's a pretty good looking setup there. Then we've got the front wheel on, that's all spaced out. Just got to put some split pins through the axle, which they go on each end of the axle to stop the nuts backing off. Next thing, I think we're going to put the carbon Yoshi on, see what it all looks like. and then after that it's just a case of getting all the wiring done. So let's crack on and get to it. Okay, so got the Yoshimura pipe on, put it all together nice and loose, so literally finger tight the head studs. I normally do this up just finger tight and then slot it all together, slot this down just with a tiny bit of WD or something, because you've got metal on metal contact there. Put your springs on, and the same on this side. I've got a slight little bit of an issue here. It all mates up, it's just this bolt really doesn't feel long enough. I can't get enough purchase on. I don't want to go squashing this rubber in here too hard, so I'm just going to buy a 10mm longer bolt and that'll sort that out. You've got your, I call it the butt plug, but exhaust plug, and the carbon off that flowing around onto the carbon of that, and obviously what we'll have on the front. It's all coming together really nicely. It's doing really good. I love it. It's coming together nicely, really good. Love it. Both brakes are working perfectly, no leaks at all, so that's good. We just reset the throttle. Basically it's just the wiring really left to do, and this thing is going to be a thumper. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all of those good things. And I'm super happy with how this bike's progressing. Really like the way it's sat, the stanciness of it, the retro chunky look to it. But when the brown stuff starts to go on, like the battery box and the fuel tank cover, the seat, it's gonna look really good. Anyway, like I said, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.